So we've just finished the track in terms of direct sourcing versus outsource, and a really very lively debate. I think a lot of passion and emotion about what's the right thing to do. A takeaway for me is that I sometimes think the word outsource kind of brings out in people a perception of industrialisation, and maybe we need to rethink that.
Yes, it probably does. Well, you mentioned emotion and passion. I think that is what makes the difference in being a good recruiter, not whether you're being outsourced or working as a direct sourcer for a company. So I think that is what makes the difference. And my fear with outsourcing is that sometimes you lose that amount of passion and emotion that you really need to find the talented people that you need for your company, if that makes sense.
No, it does, and I think the other thing that came up very strongly is that as an organisation that chooses to do it, it is incumbent upon you to really think about how you integrate that, so that you can have individuals who have that level of passion for the organisation who don't feel different to everyone else.
Yes.
So some of it's the principles of best practice around working with a third party and just generally doing it well versus we've just offloaded this responsibility. Because I don't know about you, but I imagine your experience is often with recruitment that if it's going well, nobody calls, but if there's a problem, all of a sudden it's very high profile. And maybe I'm being cynical, but
that's usually how it goes. The key to that is that you are in sort of a constant contact with your customers, with your hiring managers, so nobody really needs to call. You are their business partner really, and that's, I mean, you are so into what they are doing. You know what they feel and what they breathe. You know their business, and that's the way how you partner with them really well. And I think that's also the difference between being, in the company, rather than being an outsourced party somewhere in another location or something like that.
So maybe what we got to today was some of the best practice around, if you're going to do it, make sure that there is that in-house element. So sometimes elements of it can be industrialised, but have a team that is part of your organisation. And that's a
because
thing.
Then you can feel the emotion of your hiring managers, you can feel the emotion of your candidates, and then you can team up really well. I think that is critical. Whether you are, insourced, outsourced, doesn't really matter.
And in terms of direct sourcing, one of the things that you talked about was that you are pretty much 100% direct sourced. So that was interesting in terms of the level of planning that it takes to be 100% direct. And are you ever needing that contingent help? Are you ever reaching out to an agency and saying, look, this was out of nowhere, help us?
No, in general, our strategy is that we all do that ourselves. Because we really know what we want in candidates, in talented people. So that's sort of in our system, and that is very difficult to give to another company, a third party. And sometimes they come up with talented people, but then I always have to disappoint them. But because then I always say, sorry, I know the guy already, or the person that you introducing to us. We've been in touch with them already. So I think the key element there is that as a good recruiter, you really need to know the market that you're in. And at the moment, as soon as you outsource that to a third party, an agency, then you start losing, your market knowledge that you need to find a good recruit. Although that's my feeling.
I understand that, and my takeaway from that is it's hugely positive that direct sourcing is so effective done well. And I think that there's lots of different ways you can do it well, but it's really comforting to see that it is that pipelining and that relationship management will pay off.
But before you can do that well, you need to, and that is I think that's what we said on the track as well, you need to have gained a certain level of trust from the person that you work with.